everybody. Welcome back to Street Level Strategies. I am joined today by Matt Shaver, Senior LO at Synergy One. How are you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing well, Bobby Joe. It's good to see you again.
You too. I know we are on our second recording together. How lucky am I? But we have some new news from you. I just heard, you had a few other recent successes with customer intelligence and some of the alerts that are coming through. And so I want to get you back on and just hear a little about your experience. I know that the way that you're approaching these customer intelligence alerts, I think are really helping you be successful. And I know you just sent over a note the other day that was just saying, I'm having a lot of success with these. And so I thought I'd get you back on and talk specifically about your approach with these. Because I know there's a lot of people leveraging this and want to be successful with how they approach these customer intelligence alerts. And there's a lot of questions out there on best practices for doing so. So happy to have you on, and we can just jump right into the conversation if you're good with that.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah.
Sweet.
So no, it is a big part. And like I did the numbers, and I think we talked about, the 2 million I can track back to CI alerts. It's actually like going to be almost 10% of my volume this year, which
that's insane.
That's huge. Like, okay, wow, this is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
I did also, you sent me a sheet, I remember, that showed all the CI alerts, and I'm, oh my God. So a lot of them, I've done a lot of transactions from it, but I've missed a lot too.
Yeah.
So, which is, okay, maybe I'm not the expert at my approach, but it's worked okay, right? Just a little disclaimer. I mean, I looked at it, like, oh my God, I've missed all of these. Like, oh, wow, maybe I could do better. So,
yeah, that's fair. No, I think it was interesting what you were saying. So one of the things I think when we first talked is you just started with one of the alerts, you're tackling them, but when you look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, and what I hear from so many loan officers is there are so many deals that I'm just leaving on the table that could be there. And I think what you notice is you were like, dude, I gotta get on these alerts. I gotta start, keeping track of these and reaching out and making sure that I'm staying on top of these. And what we can see is it is paying off, right? The way you have said, okay, I got to take advantage of these. Now you've seen the success, and you said you've directly correlated 2 million of your volume specifically to customer intelligence alerts, and you're forecasting even more in the next that are in the pipeline currently that are directly correlated to customer intelligence alerts.
There's another 1 million, ready to go. And the thing is, I think it's so powerful and such a great avenue because, okay, everybody knows referral business. In the 24 years I've been doing that, somebody comes to you as a referral, they already kind of are comfortable with you. Well, all these CI alerts, these are from my past clients. They already know me, like me, trust me. Like, that's like low-hanging fruit. Like, it's not trying to sell myself to some random, right? So why not really focus on these people,
100%. And it's funny because, right. And it's funny because when I talk to some loan officers, they think, I just talked to one actually the other day who was telling me, is like, I'm just frustrated that they went to another lender. And I'm like, well, what have you done to engage them? Or how are you keeping track of your past client database? And a lot of the times they're not, because you're just searching for new business, right? But you're not realizing that within your database, I mean, there's a gold mine of deals that are still there, as long as you keep in front of them at the right time, which speaks directly to what you're seeing right now with the customer intelligence alerts.
100%. I mean, it's buying a new home, buying a different home, divorces, a new wife, this or that. Children. I'm doing clients' children's loans now, their purchases. Right? So,
it's
but
crazy.
not unless I stay in front of them. Not unless I'm.
Yeah.
So.
100%. So talk to me about this. So let's put this high level concept into action and how you actually execute on these. So I hear from a lot of people, what am I supposed to do? So when I get one of these alerts, how am I supposed to tackle them? How should I tackle them? And not to say that, you've got it down to a science, but what I think that we can see is we can take, a line out of your playbook to basically say, how are you approaching these and how are you being successful? So do you mind talking through, when you get one of these alerts, how do you approach them holistically and how do you tackle one of these alerts?
Okay. Yeah. So it's a little bit different for each alert. So the credit alert, I think that's the big one, the main one. So we'll start with that one. First thing I do when I get that credit alert is evaluate the client. I go in total expert. I'm like, okay, what is his current rate, right? When did he purchase his home, right? that indicates to me, okay, whether he's doing a refinance, if he's a client that I had from like 3 years ago that's got a 3% rate, I know he's not refinancing, right? It's either for a second mortgage or buying another property, something like. It
Right.
gives me some insight into this client, what's going through their heads. If it's a newer client with a 7% rate, I'm like, oh, maybe a refi alert,
Yeah.
So the next thing I do then is evaluate the relationship I have with that client. So as an example, I think I used the example with Beth yesterday. Matthew Rogers, I don't know if it's okay to say names on here. Uh, I got a credit
Why
alert
not?
a couple months ago, and
Yeah.
we just closed him maybe, I don't know, 7 months ago, and I knew he's in the sevens. And with him, we have a really good relationship. And so
Hmm.
he was a phone call, like, hey, dude, what the F? What are you doing? Who's pulling your credit?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I can have that conversation with him. I can't have that conversation with everybody, but that's where the
Yeah.
evaluation
Yeah.
process comes in,
Yeah.
right? And he says to me, he said, oh, well, hey, my servicer Rocket Mortgage, they're getting me 599,
Mm.
but I was kind of hesitant anyways because they're charging me 20 grand. And he sent me
Hmm.
the LE, they're charging 2 points. I said, Matt, I got your back. Like, you're in my system. I get alerted when something's going to benefit you. It's not the
Yeah.
time yet. I say, if we
Yeah.
hold off, we can get that 5.9 paying no points. Just be patient. And so that's actually, there's 350,000 that's in the pipeline just waiting, right? He may have come back to me anyways. Well, no, he didn't. He got solicited by a servicer and he fell for it. But I was able to stop
Hmm.
that. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
most of
that's
the
cool. So
time,
you're saying the first time, for when you get that alert, you immediately jump into the system, and there's the data is there to be able to give you a little bit of insight into what it potentially could be for, right? And
that's
then
the
you can
two needs.
say,
Yeah,
yeah,
I can just click right there and there it is. Property address, what he funded, what his current rate is. I'm
yep,
like, okay, his contact information, it's all right there. So it's very easy, very quick. Um,
yeah,
for most
that's
of the
awesome.
clients, after I do the evaluation, it's going to be probably a text message.
Yeah.
Something along the lines of, hey, you know what, it's Matt Shaver here, your trusted mortgage advisor. We haven't spoken in a while. I just want to remind you that I'm always available for any of your mortgage needs, whether
Yeah.
it's in state, out of state, wherever you're at. I'm here to help you, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
if I
I'm
think
going to
there's,
pull up here, Matt. I'm going to pull up right here quickly before we get started. I want to actually show up some of your example talk tracks, right? Because I think what you just said is really important. And I kind of took these, and I know these are your best practice, right? But I love that you're saying whether it's a close relationship, whether it's a working relationship, those differ a little bit. So if you're someone out there saying, I don't know what to say or how do I approach these, I love that you've broken it out and said, if I have a close relationship, dude, I'm just going to call them and I'm going to just hit them up and say, hey, what's going on? And then also, if it's more of like a working relationship, it's not super close relationship, I did a loan, then I'm just going to go for a quick text message and say, hey, I'm here for you. So you want to talk through some of your approach to these talk tracks?
yeah, it's kind of like they say, you won't read the room, right? You don't, you're not calling, your dad saying, hello, dad, it's me,
Yeah.
but by the same token, you're not calling your client saying, what the hell, unless you have that relationship,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and once the text is sent, okay, if I don't receive a response in 24 hours, I follow up with a phone call. Hey, just want to make sure you receive my text,
Hmm.
and a lot of times, like the tech savvy people will go, oh, wait, you probably saw my credit was pulled, right? The
Hmm.
not so tech savvy, which is the majority of my clients, go, oh my God, like I'm glad you called. We were just talking about buying a new house. We're moving up to Washington, whatever. Oh, well, I can do Washington.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually really interesting. Two things that you said there. Number one, I love that when you do send a text message, I love that you have that last little line that says, hey, if I don't, hear from you in the next little bit, I'll just follow up with a phone call. I think it does set a precedent of, hey, if you can't get back to me, it's not weird when you do send the phone call. So I love that you add that little tidbit in there. And I hope you probably have seen that be pretty successful. I've seen a few other of our top LOs also leverage that approach where they start with a text message and say, hey, don't be surprised if I give you a quick phone call the next couple of days, just to check in, make sure everything's good.
Yeah. And at some point in the conversation we had is that, hey, I'm looking out for your best interest. I don't
Yep.
want to come across as salesy. I want, hey,
Yeah.
like I told you, I'm your mortgage advisor for life. I'm here for you
Yeah.
for all stages of your life. Okay, I'm looking out for you.
For
Not,
sure.
hey, I need your business.
100%. Yeah. And I also, yeah, I just love that you've broken them out into those two different buckets, and you've talked about, okay, you approach with a phone call or you approach with a text message, and you kind of set the precedent of what what you're going to do. And it's just a service. It's a service call. Hey, I'm here to support you. This is why, I'm giving you a quick call. And maybe there is a, other person that's offered them that, and they may not know. What I've also realized is they may not know that you actually do business in other states. Like, I've heard from so many people. And one of the things, that's where I was getting to, you also mentioned in your note earlier, was you were like, hey, a lot of the times, a lot of my business is from clients moving out of the state, and they just don't know that you do business in other states. And I think that that is a miss from a lot of LOs, making sure that you get that educational message out there to your database that, hey, I do business in almost all 50 states, right? I do business. And so if you're moving, I'm still your guy. And I think that that is really important in your messaging, when, especially with the listing insights alert, right? That's what you're saying is kind of your approach, is making sure they know that.
100%. Yeah, and I've done videos, BombBomb videos in the past to all my clients, let them know we can help them in every state.
Love it.
But a lot of times it either gets missed or whatever. And so, yeah, what I found, a lot of these credit inquiries and the listing alerts is, yeah, people buying out of state. I had a client move to Georgia. And I got a credit alert. I'm like, dude, he was in process with Rocket Mortgage. I'm like, dude, what are you doing with Rocket? I didn't think you could lend in Georgia. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I can,
100%.
So,
yeah, exactly. Well, that's awesome, Matt. I really appreciate you jumping on. And I think the key takeaways I would have here is just looking at how you're approaching it is, as you get these alerts, not just sitting back. I think that's a miss, like you were talking about, is like initially you kind of just sit back and you're like, oh, these are cool. But then you realize these are true opportunities, and they're amazing opportunities because they're people that you already know. You don't have to work super hard to get back their business, right? They already know you, unless you did a bad job. Hopefully you didn't do, and they want to come back to you. But it's opportunities that should be low hanging fruit, just like you mentioned. So when you get the alerts, jumping in the system, evaluating them, and then what's your game plan? Send a text, make a phone call, connect with the agent on a listing alert. I mean, I love that approach, and even just having those scripted out.
yeah, so we didn't really cover the listing alert, but
Yeah,
that,
let's talk about them.
so the intangible there is, okay, I may or may not get the business, but after evaluating the client, the first thing I do is find out, okay, who was the realtor that did the purchase that I did, right?
Yep.
Immediately contact that realtor. And out of the last 5 listing alerts, okay, 4 of them weren't using the same realtor, right? But I actually tried to win them back. Like, hey, well, have you talked to Marissa, right? Versus the agent. Okay, I'm talking to the client. Hey, you're the client. Hey, Bobby Joe, have you talked to Marissa? Why didn't you go with Marissa? Oh my God, really?
Yep.
Okay, well, what about your purchase? Like, she's amazing. Like,
yeah.
Relay that to the agent, and they love it. They're like, oh my God, I did not know they were listing their home. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for looking out for me. The most recent one I got a couple of days ago, I contacted the realtor. He's like, yeah, I'm doing the listing. I'm like, okay, great. And he said, thank you so much for looking out for me. That's huge. That's strengthening that relationship with my realtors. They know that I have their back as well. And I think that's priceless.
Yeah, it's not just for the client, it's also for your agent relationships.
100%.
And I think a lot of people, I don't necessarily know if a lot of loan officers know how to approach the listing alerts, right? It's like, okay, it's great, but they're moving or they're going somewhere else or whatever's happening. And I think it's key to know that within the listing alert that you're getting, being able to reach back out to the agent is value in itself. And they do. The agents are so thankful. And it's a really good point for you to build that relationship and trust with the agent that you have their back.
Because it's more than likely that client came from that realtor anyways. Because most of my business comes from realtors. So there's a good chance they sent that client to me. And now it's my obligation to like, hey, advocate for them.
Paying them back.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, that's a really good point. And so I think whether it be credit or rate or even equity, I know we didn't touch super on that, but with specifically, I know you're seeing a lot of success within credit and rate. And I know rate's another one too that you were talking about, where you're able to there's a lot of clients within the pipeline where you're saying, hey, we're still watching, we're still waiting to know when the right time is to pull that trigger. And I don't know if you have any thoughts on specifically rate. I know we talked a lot about credit and listing. Any thoughts around how you're approaching the rate alerts that come through, or how you're monitoring and making sure you're looking out for your clients, leveraging those alerts?
Yeah. So again, starts with evaluation. Okay, what do they have? Do they have PMI? Like, I've got probably 7 rate alerts right now in the last week. Wow. But some of them are DSCR, Some of them are condos with, 5% down.
Yeah.
None of them are going to work right now, right? Which I don't think we can. Technology isn't there yet where they can sort out like, oh, this is a DSCR rate. What's the current DSCR rate?
Right.
It's too, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But I just evaluate, and I don't really contact those clients. Maybe I should. I don't know, but they all know. Most of my clients know because the videos that I send on a regular basis. Hey, rates are coming down. I send them updates on the Fed, how the Fed does not control mortgage rates. Mortgages will be coming down. I'll be contacting you when the time is right. So.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I actually love that you're saying that even with those rate alerts. So within your view, within Total Expert, you can see anyone who's on a rate alert, right? Or even just your clients, and be able to push out content like that. Hey, I'll let you know and I'll keep you updated when X changes, right? And it might be beneficial for you. So being able to just nurture those clients as well on a holistic scale is pretty powerful, I would say, in terms of just staying in front and educating your clients.
Actually, I just had an epiphany. So I was just thinking, okay, so I should go deeper as far as evaluating. Okay, this person has whatever, 7.25. Okay, if I go deeper and find out, oh, you know what, they were actually like a 680 credit score that we went conventional. If their credit has improved, which it's been 6 months, 7 months, whatever, maybe it does make sense. So maybe I've been selling myself short with these alerts and go, wait a second. Yeah, they've got that rate, but they're still stuck. No, maybe they're not. Maybe the circumstances change. Maybe they got better credit now.
Yeah. And even just having the alerts be a prompt to do that, just to dig a little deeper. I think
100%.
that's also just the key, right? That you may have not dug into them in the first place if it weren't for the fact that it prompted you.
Because I'm not thinking about them. I know,
you got other stuff.
Let's take a look at them. Oh, you know what? No, I'm not going to work. Yeah. But at least I give it a shot. Like otherwise, I'm not even thinking about it.
100%. So it really is that prompt, and some are going to be, opportunities that you can tackle right then and there, and they turn into an instant deal, and that's really powerful, right? But there is still power in the fact of just that prompting, evaluating, having the conversation, the relationship building aspect of it, and who knows, even that specific action can lead to a deal down the road. It doesn't mean that it isn't right now. Some will be, and some will be amazing, and they'll turn straight into one. But there is some power in that process.
100%. 100%.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, Matt, thank you so much for hopping on. I really appreciate you just talking through your approach, and even just letting us take a look at some of your talk tracks and how you manage your alerts. Because I know that in the beginning, a little hesitant, but now you're all in. And I just love hearing from you that you're having a lot of success and truthfully seeing the value of customer intelligence within your pipeline, like those opportunities turning into legitimate deals.
I love it because I'm inherently a bit lazy, and I don't have fantastic systems. And so this is like, oh, it's doing it for me. And just like
creates a system for you. Yeah. I love it.
As far as the cost I mentioned yesterday with Beth, I'm like, dude, it's, from what I've done so far, it's paid for the rest of my life. Like
no brainer. Literally one deal will cover that. You know what I mean? It's like, and the fact that you're already seeing 10 plus deals in the pipeline, it's like no brainer in terms of the cost for it.
Yeah.
100%. I love it.
Big fan.
Amazing. All right, Matt. Well, thanks so much. Maybe we'll have another one of these and we'll just talk about even more success that you're having with customer intelligence. But I appreciate you hopping on, just talking through some of your strategy for these. And I know it'll be beneficial for folks leveraging this video as well. So thanks again, Matt.
Thanks, Bobby Joe. Good seeing you again.
You too. Talk soon.
Bye.